Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Jenny and welcome to another episode of Abroad I with Jenny. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about the mistakes that people make when they are going for a visa interview. And for this specific video, I'm going to be talking about the mistakes people make during the B1, B2 and F1 visa interview. I have 5 major points that I'm going to be talking about in this video, so watch up until the end so that you don't make these major mistakes during your visa interview. I'm going to be reading from my phone because I have a few notes here. So on number 1, avoid showing or telling the consular that you have relatives in the US, you have cousins, you have friends, you have cousins, you have friends, you have distant cousins, you have aunties, uncles.
Niko na connections. Sasa acha nikwambie. Unajua nyinyi hamna connections.
If you tell the consular that you have uncles and aunties in the US, this is not a green card. This is a B1, B2, F1 visa, which is a non-immigrant visa. Showing the consular that you know these people in the US might lead to a denial of a visa approval. So unless that the people who are in the US are your parents, just avoid telling people that you have friends. Avoid telling people that you know Jenny who is in the US.
Man, don't act like you know me. You don't know me.
So just be straightforward. Unless it's your parents, just do not say. Do not say. That topic should not come up. And if you are also applying for an F1 visa and you are looking for somebody to sponsor your education, it's really important that you do not use bank statement for someone who is in the US unless that person is your parent. Try to look for a bank statement of someone who is in Kenya or your home country as compared to someone who is in the US. Some people might assume that showing the consular that you know people in the US, that the person sponsoring your education or your travel is from the US, that will guarantee you a visa approval, but that might actually lead to your visa denial. So, as I just said, unless those people are your parents, avoid saying that you know anyone in the US.
Avoid those people.
Don't mention me. You do not know me, even if you're my friend or your sister or your cousin. Don't mention me. And number 2 is a mismatch of information in your DS-160 and what you say during your interview. For example, when you're filling in your DS-160 for a student visa, and you say that who is paying for your school fees, and you mention that your dad is paying for your school fees, and then during the interview you are asked who is paying for your school fees, and you say that you are paying for your own school fees. That is a mismatch of information because the consular has your DS-160 and he does not have time to ask you, why did you say this person is paying for your school fees, and now you're saying that you're paying for your school fees.
What are you saying? What are you saying? What is he saying?
That may lead to automatic denial because the consular may assume that you do not know what you're saying because of what you said during the DS-160 form and what you're saying during the interview. Or for example, if you're going to visit the US and when you're filling the DS-160 form, you say that you're gonna be in the US for 2 months. And then during the interview, the consular asks you, for how long are you planning to stay in the US? And you said 3 weeks, then that's a mismatch of information because when you're filling the DS-160, you said 2 months and now you're saying 3 weeks. The consular does not have time to confirm why there is a change of plans to your visit to America. And that will lead to maybe a denial of your visa. Number 3, master and articulate your purpose of being in the US. This is if you're being given a B1, B2, F1 visa, so your purpose is either to come to the US to study, to visit, or for business. It's not just enough to tell the consular that you're coming to America to visit. It is your personal responsibility to tell the consular why it is so important for you to visit America at a particular time. It could be something like, it's my wife's birthday and I would want to take her for a vacation for our 10th anniversary to a certain destination in America because it's her dream destination. That is the purpose, rather than just saying, I want to visit. It is also important to say things like, it's my sister's wedding, and according to our culture, it is important for one family member to attend the wedding. If you're coming as a student, it's not just enough to say that I am coming to study. It is important for you to tell the consular why studying in America is so important to you as compared to studying in your home country. You can say things like, it is so important for me to gain knowledge and skills from a first world country so that I can come and apply them in my job once I graduate.
Makofi. Hiyo ni Kiingereza tupu.
So someone who says that I'm just visiting, and someone that gives the real reason as to why you really have to be in America, it stands a better chance for you to be given that visa. If you're coming for business, it's not just enough to say that you're coming to attend a conference. It is so important that you tell the consular why it is so important for you to attend that business conference. It could be things like, attending the conference guarantees you a promotion in your job to become a senior. And so it is really important to say such things rather than just saying, I am attending a conference, I am visiting, I am going for a vacation. So it's really important for you to say such things. And if you're coming for a vacation, the consular also has to check the times that you have booked for a vacation. Is it during summer? Is it during winter? So the planning that goes around it is really important for you to have at the back of your mind, because those are the things that the consular is looking at to give you a denial or an approval of your visa. As I said, when you're talking about your purpose of visiting, this in most cases is always the first question that the consular asks you, and everything that goes along with the interview will revolve around the answer that you give on your reason of visiting America. So you have to speak on the why of being in America. Number 4, avoid giving too much information, because giving too much information might lead to a panic, or it might lead to saying information that will lead to a consular asking you more questions that you're not prepared for. Remember, this might be your first time being at the embassy, and you're really tense. People have been denied visas, people are crying, you're there, you're being asked questions. So
usiongee sana.
When you give too much information, it calls for more questions from the consular. The consular will just grasp for one thing that you said, and he's gonna ask you that thing. And if you're not prepared for it, then you're gonna get a denial of your visa. So limit your answers to the questions that you've been asked. If the consular has not asked you a question, don't give that information unless that information is really, really important, like proving something else, like a home tie, which is my next point. Just avoid giving too much information or too much answers to questions that you have not been asked. Let's go to number 5, and number 5 is really, really important, and this is about proving your home ties. This is a question that the consular is not going to ask you. The consular will not ask you, can you prove to me that you're going to come back after you study? Can you prove to me that after visiting or going for a holiday in America that you're going to come back to your home country? The consular will not ask you that question directly. So it is your personal responsibility to answer that question. In every answer that you give, you have to articulate that after your purpose in America, you're gonna come back because of your home ties. Home ties is things like, you can say, my parents are aging, and so after my studies, I would want to come back and take care of my parents in their business. That is the purpose for you to come back to your home country. You can also say things like, when I graduate with my master's in agriculture, I would like to come and utilize my skills in my father's farm so that we can start a large scale. Just come up with something that shows that you have home ties. Things like having kids are home ties, and the consular might not ask for documents of your kids, birth certificates and all that. And so it's really important when you're answering your questions that the consular asks for you to really articulate through your answers that you're gonna come back, because of your home ties. Things like having a fiance, having a husband, having a wife. Those are things that will make you come back, and since the consular might not ask for the documents, it is your responsibility to say them when you're answering the questions. Number 6 is the incomplete and wrong information on the DS-160 form. Make sure that anything that you filled in the DS-160 form, that you can defend it just in case the consular asks you a question that you answered in the DS-160. If the consular asks you a question that you filled in the DS-160 and you're not able to answer, that shows the consular that you did not do the application by your own, or you do not know what you filled in the DS-160. So just make sure that you do not have incomplete or wrong information in the DS-160. If somebody helped you fill in the DS-160, make sure that you know everything that was answered in the DS-160, because this is about you. You have to know about your life. The consular cannot be asking you, when you go to America, so which school are you going to? Which state is the school that you're going to? It is really sad that if you're asked the school that you're attending as a student, you do not know the state that your school is at. That automatically shows that you do not have a clue of the state that your school is at or wherever you're going to visit. So just make sure that you do not have wrong information in the DS-160 or incomplete information in the DS-160. And if somebody filled out the form for you, just make sure that you go through all the answers that were given in the DS-160 so that you can be able to defend your answers during your interview. Because the consular has no time to ask why you made a mistake, why you did not complete your DS-160. The consular is not there to beg you to give you a visa. He's there to make sure that he does not give you a visa, and you're there to prove to him that you deserve to be given that visa. So it's your responsibility to be able to defend anything that you filled in the DS-160 form. Last but not least is to be able to prove that you are able to support yourself financially during your stay in the US. That is either if you're going to visit, if you're going to study, and if you're going for business. If the company is paying for you when you're going for a conference, it's really important to show why that company is really sponsoring you and why that you are such an important part of the company for the company to sponsor you. And you have to have like documents just in case the consular asks for proof of why the company is sponsoring you. It could be like you are a financial manager at Safaricom, and that is why they have to sponsor you to go learn a few financial skills in America, and so they have to pay for your trip to America. So if you're coming to visit in America, for example, if you're coming to visit and you've told the consular that, what's your purpose of visiting America? I would want to go for a vacation in America. The consular might ask you question, what is your occupation?
Do you make money? Do you have a job?
If you say, what's your occupation, and you say, I don't want to give an example, but this consular live in Kenya, and so they are able to know how much, for example, a receptionist is paid, a teacher is paid. You cannot go tell the consular that you are a primary school teacher and you want to sponsor yourself to go to America for a vacation for 3 months. The consular would want to know the consular already knows how much you are paid as a teacher, and how are you going to be able to stay in America for 3 months sponsoring yourself, because it's really, really expensive to be there, and the consular is really avoiding for you to be a burden when you are in America. So it's really important that your financial matches your purpose of being in America. And as I said, it's better if you show a bank statement of someone who is sponsoring you not to be in America. If that person if you're sponsoring yourself for the trip, it's really important that your financial capability matches with your career and your purpose of being in America. If you're coming to study in America, it's really important that you say how you're going to afford your school fees in America, or why the person that is sponsoring your studies finds it really important to sponsor your studies. If you say your uncle is sponsoring for your education, the consular will want to know why is it so important for your uncle to sponsor your education, because education in America is really expensive. So the counselor will want to know why your uncle is sponsoring your education. It could be things like, my uncle has been my guardian since I was 5 years old, and that is why he's sponsoring my master's to go study in America. It's really weird when you say a friend is sponsoring your education. The counselor would want to know, why is just a random friend sponsoring for your education? Because that's a lot of money to sponsor somebody, and if you don't have a good reason as to why that person is sponsoring you, that might, even if it is really true that your friend is sponsoring your education, the counselor wants to know why it's really important for that person to sponsor your education. And if you're not able to prove it, that might lead to a denial of your visa. I really hope these points were crucial to you, and that they were important, and that they were educational and informational to you. And I hope that you find this video informative, and if you're getting ready to go for a visa interview, be it B1, B2, F1 visa, I hope this video gives you more information on what to expect during your visa interview and helps you prepare better for your visa interview. Up until the next one, see you guys. Don't forget to like, comment down below what you think about this video, and I would want to do another video about proving home ties, because I think most people fail during the visa interview because of lacking to show home ties, because this is a point that the consular do not ask, but they also want to know that you have home ties. I would really love to do another video of proving home ties, so comment down below if you would want me to do that video. And so don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you're watching this channel and you have not yet subscribed, please, you're doing this channel disadvantage, so please click on that subscribe button and click on that bell so that you're notified every time that I post. See you on the next one. Thank you guys. Bye.